The Acting Director of Technology Consulting Center at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Donald Amagro, says Ghana's democracy would be a lot more meaningless unless universities leverage on technology to address food security issues.
As Ghana prepares to honor its best farmer today, Dr. Amagro believes basic challenges like post-harvest losses must not be allowed to torment the country's farmers. Kwesi Deborah has more in the following report.
Mr. Amagro was speaking at an engineering student design competition in Kumasi. He observes conventional methods of doing things, slow pace of development. Mr. Amagro says efforts must be geared towards community-friendly technology for accelerated growth of the country.
Just like a word, transformative, changing the situation. The techniques of doing things have been difficult, drudgery, mixing with the hand or trampling with the leg. Can we have a simple technology that can change that formation or that such a way of doing things? And we shouldn't be looking at big things beyond the community, things within the community which can be harnessed, simple techniques, simple mechanisms.
This year's competition focused on energy and food security. 6 competing teams showcased their innovations.
Technology is built for the people and to be used by the they can cause cancer. It is the sector to the out. It can be proved. The country management system. Zoom Lion has been trying to work on our risk.
Overall winners, Team Ivatech, took home as their prize 1,200 Ghana cedis for designing an evaporative cooler. The cooler is designed with market women in mind to keep fruits and vegetables fresh throughout the sale period. Lecturer at the Department of Agricultural Engineering, Professor Emmanuel Bobobi, wants students to explore ICT to help farmers.
We want to encourage the young ones to actually go into this area where they can use ICT to improve the life of farmers. And this also includes even the use of ICT plus the unmanned area vehicles, these the drones to actually map out, crop yield and then even to predict food security ahead of time. So there's a need to encourage some of them to use these softwares, these applications, to be able to enable the farmers to predict the yield of their crops, know the market price, and even know the farm gate price of their crops.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, has dismissed media reports suggesting that the company which has been awarded a contract to print the pink sheet for the December polls is bankrupt.
Some media reports allege that the commission awarded some $8.95 million contract to print the statement of poll and declaration of results forms, commonly known as pink sheets, and other results-related carbonized election forms to a liquidated company. But speaking to the BBC's Kwesi Sapong, the EC chairperson clarified that the company awarded the contract is very much in business.
We have awarded a contract for the printing of some of the election forms to a company that has always printed it previously for us and has now relocated to Ghana, which made their pricing better for us.
Do you care to name them?
I think it's Aerovote, which made their pricing better for us, and which meant that this time we did not have to bear the high freight charges that we would have had to bear, and also the time for shipping the security is high-level security printing, shipping it into Ghana. And
the worry, I suppose, here will be the fact that in the United Kingdom, this firm is dissolved, but not existent.
We did not award it to a UK company that had dissolved. We awarded it to a company that has come to set up in Ghana and is properly registered in Ghana, went through a rigorous procurement process, satisfied all the requirements of Ghanaian law to be awarded the contract. If a company decides to relocate wrap up his business in one country and move to another country, does that mean that they should be excluded from bidding for contracts in the new country they've relocated to, especially when they have a track record of printing for Ghana previously?
Were questions asked about why they chosen to relocate the operation from the United Kingdom to Ghana? Is it a question the Commission will be interested in?
No.
Why not?
Because that is not part of the requirement process, the procurement process. There's very stringent laws for procurement in Ghana, particularly to a public institution. Our job is to make sure that you meet the requirements under our law. Companies move from one country to others for all kinds of reasons. All kinds of reasons. That would be unfairly penalizing companies that have decided to relocate. I'm happy that they relocated to Ghana. At least they're hiring Ghanaians. They're creating jobs in Ghana.
Do we know the constitution of this firm? When they operated in the United Kingdom, how much information do you have about who they were when they were based in the UK?
We were not even printing directly with them. We were working through agents. And now we actually can work with them directly, which is actually a more efficient process for us, and it's cheaper.
And with some 32 days to the general elections, Mrs. Osei said the EC, whilst awaiting the verdict of the courts on the many suits against the institution, had begun preparing materials of parliamentary elections. Well,
we have started the process of printing the parliamentary ballots to mix up, some of the time, and so we're in a good place to meet the December dates. In 2012, after the 2012 presidential elections, we were in court in 2013. And one of the issues that came up for determination by the court was whether the absence of the signatures of presiding officers would invalidate the results. And the Supreme Court dismissed that by majority decision. So that is the law. However, it does not mean that we are encouraging presiding officers not to sign results. Indeed, we have added it to the offences in this year's constitutional instrument regulating the elections. And in the training we're having for the election officials, we're emphasizing not just the obligations, but the sanctions in the law. But when you get the results at the polling station level, we're going to have about 29,000 polling stations, less 8 or so. Presiding officers have a duty to sign off the results, and party agents and candidate agents also have to sign the results. If they have any basis for challenging the results, they can ask for a recount at the polling station, one recount. After that recount, if they still do not want to accept the results, then they have to there's a form they can fill to show why they do not want to sign the results. But if you have, let's say, 10 agents and one agent does not sign, it does not invalidate the results. We would, of course, have to check into the basis for the challenge and make sure that it is and establish whether it is substantiated or not.
Well, Charlotte Osei also explained why the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, is not the platform to resolve issues based on legality for disqualifying presidential candidates.
But IPAC is not a law court.
But it's a conventional platform for you to resolve issues before they get to the legal stage.
But this is a legal issue. At the IPAC stage, you discuss what the processes are. You don't discuss the law. The law is passed by Parliament. The law has always existed. We're acting within CI 94, which was passed by Parliament. At IPAC, you discuss the processes. You discuss the rollouts. You don't resolve legal challenges at IPAC because you're not a court of law. And for everyone whose rights are affected, somebody is also to the detriment of somebody else.
The suggestion here is if these issues have been dealt with at the at that level,
like which one?
Flaws or errors in the application forms, the whole process.
How is IPAC going to deal with that?
You didn't need to have to go to court.
No, but how is IPAC? We didn't go to court. Remember, the law says that the commission shall take a decision. The chairperson of the commission is returning officer for presidential elections. So my job is to receive the forms, examine the forms, and if there's any legal basis where the forms cannot be accepted, report to the commission, and the entire commission takes a decision. It's not a decision to be taken by IPAC. If you take that decision to IPAC, anybody can challenge you. The commission has to act in accordance with the law. And there's a lot of electoral laws we have to follow. As soon as you start exercising discretion wrongly, that in itself is wrong. If the law says that someone must provide ABC to be properly qualified, it's not a decision to be taken by IPAC. That would be the Commission abdicating its legal responsibilities to the people of Ghana to IPAC. And I think that is wrong.
Madam Charlotte Osei also says despite attacks on her by individuals and some groups for some decisions taken by the Commission, she does not regret taking up the job of being the chairperson of the Electoral Commission.
No, I do not regret it. It's not an easy job, but it was not meant to be an easy job. And when you're a woman in a space that some people believe should be male, you should expect this. It's also a job that requires that you take difficult decisions, and people do not always understand the decisions that are taken. They also do not understand that you are chairing a commission. So when you speak, you're speaking on behalf of 7 people, really. It's not your own personal, it's not your voice. You're not speaking for yourself. So it's very easy for them to misunderstand and to personalize the attacks. It comes with the territory. It's to be expected, being female. It's to be expected in the kind of job it is. Chairs of Electoral Commission globally have the same challenges. Every decision you take makes one person happy, doesn't make another person happy. It comes with the territory. You just have to learn to handle it with grace. I have a lot of support. My faith, my family, my friends, and then I get a lot of support from random Ghanaians. You meet them on flights, they reach out to you via social media, some try and get your phone number, your email address, and they send you messages of support.
Does your husband feel you've taken on too much?
No, he feels it's a tough job and that it's his absolute duty to just give me as much support as I need. He recognizes that it is service to country and service to God. It's not meant to be easy, but someone has to do it.
But what does all of this say, do you think, about, well, the place of women in leadership and, also as key players in Ghana's political space? Because there's always been an argument of not enough women of ability being or getting involved.
Yes, and I can see why not enough women want to get involved. But it's also that society is not making enough space for women. We have to consciously, as a society, realize that women have a very key role to play. If you exclude women, you're excluding 51% of your population. And for me, that's like a car moving around on 2 tires instead of 4.
They're at each other's throat in court, and their lawyers will come up against each other again today at the Supreme Court. I'm talking about the Progressive People's Party and the Electoral Commission.
Even before that encounter later this morning in court, the party has hit at the Electoral Commission, accusing it of diverting the attention of Ghanaians from asking questions about how the Electoral Commission intends to organize a credible election. To them, the EC suit at the Supreme Court challenging the order from the High Court to allow Dr. Papakwesi Endum to correct the mistake on his form is a smokescreen. Here's the party's policy advisor, Kofi Asamoah-Siang.
The Electoral Commission wants to use us as pawns in a game of chess. So they go to the Supreme Court, make us go to court, divert everybody's attention to the court. And journalists, they have succeeded in taking your attention there. And therefore, one journalist goes there, the whole nation goes there. So you follow us to the Supreme Court. And on the other side, we have lost focus on what are the electoral processes. Who is printing the ballot papers? How many companies are involved? How many ballots are they printing? Which regions are each of the companies printing ballots for? When are the agents supposed to be at post? How long will it take to print the ballot papers? When are we going to establish the National Coalition Center? When are we going to procure the fax machines that will fax the constituency results straight away from the constituencies to the National Coalition Center? Are we going to go through constituency to region and to the strong room? We said no way. The Electoral Commission is changing the process. Why are all these questions not being asked only 4 weeks to the election? I suspect, or we suspect, that they will rush the printing, the balloting and the printing through, because the Supreme Court case will end by next weekend, because it's only in our case. When it ends, the other 5 are also waiting to go to the Supreme Court, either by themselves or the Electoral Commission taking them there. So you will realize that, yes, you realize that the Electoral Commission will do all this gargantuan job in 2 weeks. So they ship 1 million or 4 million ballot papers to the voter region. You have no eyes to see it. You have no time to scrutinize it. And they ship another 5 million to the Upper East region, another 10 million to the Upper West. How would you know? They won't give you time to scrutinize it. They won't have time for you to ask questions. You go to the Electoral Commission office, the offices are locked, they are nowhere to be found. They are supposed to be public servants, but they treat us as if they are laws over us. And when they finish, and we don't have any opportunity to scrutinize the process, auditing is impossible. And therefore, when they come and they issue the declaration of election rate, declaring Kwaku Menu as president-elect, what time do you have to scrutinize that? The Kwaku Menu didn't win the election, but it was Dr. Park Osei who won it. These are the questions that we need to focus on, and they are diverting our attentions from there. So to answer your question, what is happening is a deliberate scheme designed by some people with the help of the Electoral Commission to make sure that we have limited time to run this election, rush things through, declare somebody who is not deserving of the people of Ghana's vote, and declare him president of Ghana. When you decide to fight it, Peace Council will tell you stop fighting. They will bring the Ghana Armed Forces in, and they will bring the Ghana Police Service in. It is a deliberate scheme sponsored by the state to make sure that somebody continues to be in power. That is what is happening. It has nothing to do with PPP and our legitimacy to contest the election or not.
And the party has described the sector as one characterized by sluggish growth due to the failure of government to properly implement policies geared towards revamping the sector. And that will be the new Patriotic Party as they held a press briefing yesterday. Now, spokesperson on agriculture, Dr. Owusu Efriye Akoto, who addressed the press briefing, said the NPP will revive the sector through increased investment.
Fellow Ghanaians, by the measure of annual growth performance, Ghana's agriculture has been sliding, or at best sluggish, from 7.4% in the year 2008 and 7.2% in 2009. Agricultural growth slowed to 5.3% in 2010, hitting the bottom of 0.8% in 2011. It then stayed down at 2.3% in 2012, recovering somewhat to 5.7% in 2013, and then 4.6% in 2014. The growth registered in the 2 years, 2013 and 2014, was in large part on account of unprecedented growth in forestry and logging activities. If logging activities are dramatically increasing without commensurate growth in reforestation, the obvious implication is that we are further degrading our forest cover, and opening the country up to the invasion of savanna and Sahelian conditions.
And that's it for the news this morning. Just as always, you can get interactive through our network pages. Facebook, Join Us on TV is our page there. We're streaming live currently. And 0560 800,000 is our number on WhatsApp already. We've got a lot more of your messages coming in. And you are saying today is your birthday, Rita Tando. You are in Akachi. We say happy birthday to you.
All right, stay with us. We've got the newspapers, fresh and hot. We'll tell you what's making headlines up next here on our show.
Do stay on.